So here it is, YouTube. I'm Roadhawk Wilson, and today we're going to be discussing the Jelly Donut controversy. So if you don't know, and I'm surprised if you're on an anime channel and you don't know this, the story behind the Jelly Donut controversy in Pokemon is that essentially Brock made a rice ball into a jelly donut. Now this is two things that are highly significant in American culture. We love our donuts, and Japanese culture, rice balls are a natural treat. However, as anime fans of the Pokemon community grew up, we learned that this wasn't this, and a lot of people react to this in anger and disbelief that 4Kids would dub an anime with Japanese culture in such a way. However, I'll provide various links around this. Many people find this to be very funny, and in fact the two sides are highly polar opposites of each other. There are people to this day that swear that this anime in like the early 1990s, 2000s was dumbing down another culture for so many reasons, and that basically that they didn't think kids could understand this. One thing we have to keep in mind is that in this time frame, anime was still not huge. The Pokemon anime was massively popular, but a lot of kids weren't watching anime for Japanese culture. In fact, anime at the time wasn't really viewed as a holistic or wholesome process for kids to view. To this day, there's still some bias. Anime is nothing more than young teenage girls being molested by tentacles. It's a weird idea of what anime is, and a lot of it can go down that road, but there's a whole subsection of anime that is very different from that. And in this culture, in the anime culture that is, we have kind of adopted the jelly donut rice bowl idea as what is proper dubbing and what is horrible dubbing. In fact, I've talked to various people about the idea of the jelly donut and really what 4Kids stood for, and the general consensus is that 4Kids just wanted to get product out and they didn't care about the culture. Now, going back to the culture element, at the time, I have to state this, the Pokemon anime wasn't set in Japan. The dub was very heavy on the idea of potentially different cultures being the influence on the Kanto region. However, despite this, there's still a lot of anger. I can understand why, because not trusting kids to understand another culture or not being willing to at least expose them to it is wrong. Also, this came very heavily to the idea of the hoagie sandwich being replaced from another item in Japanese culture in the Hoenn region, which was years later, and still under 4Kids, which is why 4Kids is considered one of the least significant dubs of many cultures. One thing you had to look at though, this was the early 90s, this was the early 2000s. Anime was still becoming, and I'm saying this over and over because it needs to be drilled down, anime was still becoming what it is now. It was not mainstream. In fact, many people considered Pokemon a cartoon, not an anime. Many people actually considered many anime to be cartoons instead of Japanese animation. And it wasn't until about 2008 when I really started to see this becoming a thing. But what's so hysterical is the jelly donut meme has become commonplace for years. There's so many different cultures and ideas that really the idea of the jelly donut meme, the jelly donut mistake, whatever you want to call it, the controversy, is opening up a world of subculture to another generation. And ultimately, despite denying us the education of a culture in which we really didn't know much about at the time, keep in mind, in the early 1990s, a lot of kids were not fascinated with Japanese culture. America was not fascinated by Japanese culture nearly as much as it is today. And yet, because of this one idea, this controversy, there is a whole world of advocates of animation and memes out there projecting this idea and educating kids on this idea, making fun of it, making serious concepts out of it. It is its own, in all honesty, realm. The jelly donut meme, the jelly donut controversy is in itself its own world of anime subculture, because 4Kids made a mistake. And in the world of what was dubbed well and what wasn't, we can discuss One Piece in another video, because that was way more significant in how it was dubbed and recreated. Ultimately, though, I want to know what you guys think about these. I'm going to leave several links for you guys to check out memes, articles, ideas, the concept of the jelly donut on the wiki, different opinions. I highly recommend you check it out. But the jelly donut controversy in itself has somehow opened up a world of anime discussion, and I personally find that fascinating. I hope you do too. With that, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I could easily talk about this one topic because there's so much content about it. But what I find fascinating is the idea that this one mistake made it into mainstream anime culture, but at the same time is so hated and so beloved. I don't agree with 4Kids doing this, and I hope you guys don't either. But at the same time, when you look at what culture was known at the time, maybe they could have done things better. Maybe they did the right thing. I don't know. I'll see you later.